Well, hello, YouTube family. Thanks for tuning in today. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Nintendo Switch 2. This is a very popular device right now. It's selling very well, but I've heard a lot of complaints, and I kind of wanted to address those complaints today because I really like the device. And I think it really comes down to, do we like the device? So I have a PlayStation 5 Pro. I have a Legion Go. I have a Steam Deck. I have the original Nintendo Switch. I've used all kinds of different video games, systems, devices, handhelds, and I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts about it. So it really comes down to three different things that's going on with the Nintendo Switch 2 right now, with some of the problems that people are pointing out mostly. And first thing is the screen. A lot of people are complaining about the screen. Now, I think it's funny that people are complaining about the screen because they weren't until Digital Foundry came out and showed that the screen has a very slow response time. Okay, so what does that mean? What does that mean in the Nintendo world that the screen has a slow response time? Well, in particular settings, like maybe the menu screens, and then we're talking about like 2D games, you could get some ghosting. Now, I don't see it. I don't see it when I'm looking at the screen. I don't see it when I'm playing games. It's just not something that I've noticed. Okay, obviously you're not going to notice at all if you're plugged into the dock because it's on a different TV. So it's only in handheld mode is the screen the issue. If you've noticed on some of the Digital Foundry videos, what they're doing is they're slowing it down to like 11%. It'll show it on the side of their things. They're slowing it down to 11% so then you can see the ghosting. But I think for the majority of people, we're just not going to see it. We're not going to see it. It's not going to bother us at all. Now, the other good thing about this is response times can be addressed through software. So Nintendo could come in later on and say, hey, let's do a software update and fix it. And there will be no ghosting. But at this moment, I don't see it. The majority of people don't see it. So I don't really think it's that big of an issue. I really enjoy playing on handheld. It looks great. Next big problem that people are complaining about is key cards. The key card issue comes down to this. Nintendo has issued a 64 gig card. So if you want a physical copy, the game manufacturers can only buy a 64 gig card. So they could have a game that's larger than 64 gigs and would have to do a digital download for the rest, or they could have a game that's real low, maybe 5 gigs, and they still have to buy the 64 gigs, so they have all of this empty space on this cart. Well, you might say, well, what does that matter? It matters because Nintendo is charging $15 to $16 for these game cards. So you have a 64 gig game card for $15 to $16. So this is eating into these game manufacturers' profit. So if you have a game that only has 5 gigs and you want to sell it for $20, you only have $4 of profit in there. So that is the issue. So really, Nintendo could fix this issue pretty quickly. They could issue 30 gig cards. They could issue 20 gig cards, 10 gig cards. And that could be different prices. And then that could fix that issue. So then we don't have to deal with all these game key cards. Last problem, I think, is a valid complaint, and that is the games. And that was the biggest thing for me when the Nintendo Switch 2 came out. It just didn't have that many games. So really their biggest first party game was Mario World. Other than that, they really didn't have that many games. It was a lot of refreshes, redos, and things like that. So I understand that. I understand that complaint. But I'm going to say there's a shining light for that. Look at all the backwards compatibility. It is amazing. These Switch 1 games now on the Switch 2, they're wonderful. For example, I always looked at Splatoon and I thought, oh, I don't know. I don't think I would like that game. Well, I saw Switch 2, they had an update and it looked really good. And I'm like, man, I might try this game. I might see how this game is. So I started playing Splatoon 3 and it is awesome. It is a wonderful game. And I'm so glad that they were able to do this, that they were able to update these games. So here we have a game that's come out like, I don't know, a year ago. Okay, now it's updated on the Nintendo Switch 2, and it's a great game. It looks good, it plays well, and it's awesome. Another game here is Fast Fusion. Fast Fusion looks great. They've updated that since it released, and it looks wonderful. Now, for those of you that don't know, go into the settings and you can change it. I didn't go into the settings at first and change the what it looks like. There's some graphics modes in there. Change your graphics modes. It looks great. It plays great. It's a good game. It's only $15. We can't complain about that. There's a lot of content there for $15. Another game, Fortnite. I don't know if you tried to play Fortnite on the Switch 1. It was about impossible. If I saw somebody playing on the Switch 1 and they were beating me, I was like, this guy is awesome at Fortnite. If he can play on the Switch 1, this guy is amazing. How is he doing this? I mean, that's how bad Switch 1 Fortnite was. It was terrible. It was so hard to play. But now you can play it. And that now there's still some things there's some issues I think they need to iron out on the Fortnite on Switch 2, but it's great. It plays great. So the graphics are much better. It loads much faster. You can actually play well and get better. There are some other really bright spots. Smash Brothers playing awesome on the Nintendo Switch 2. Turtles playing great. This Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. I mean, everyone liked the game on Switch 1, but it just didn't play very well. And now it's running great. It's running great, plays great. It's a very good, fun time. I mean, you got to think of stuff like Mario Odyssey that they updated, the graphical updates on all of these games. I mean, it's just really a wonderful system with the games. Now, other games are coming out. The new Donkey Kong game's coming out in 2 weeks. Also, they just dropped Super Mario Strikers for the GameCube. Great game. Plays wonderful. All of these games play excellent. Soul Calibur 2, F-Zero GX, and Super Mario Strikers you can all do the full screen. Now, Zelda's the only one that you can't do that, but these three, and they play great. Soul Calibur 2, I totally forgot about that game, and wow, I've been playing it, just having a blast with it. So I think we really need to chill about the game thing and stop complaining so much. They're coming, but there's a lot of other content that we can go back to and play and enjoy. So just to wrap this up, man, I've had a blast with it. I think the Switch 2 is a great new update for the Switch. I mean, the Switch 2, this is some good hardware. And I think it really rivals things like my Steam Deck. I think I'll probably play the Switch 2 more than I play my Steam Deck. My Switch 2 is so much lighter, so much smaller. So the portability with that is wonderful too. So I just think we need to chill out about all the complaining. We don't have to complain about absolutely anything. Now, I do like Digital Foundry and what they do, and that they're supposed to take something and kind of nitpick at it. They're supposed to do that. And I'm glad that they do that, because then these companies change those things that they nitpick about. But even Digital Foundry has said, really, the Switch 2 is a good console. The Switch 2 is a good console. They have a couple complaints about it, but they really have complaints about everything That's their job. They're supposed to really nitpick at some of these things and see how these things can improve. I think they're a good value. A Digital Foundry is good for the community and making sure that we get good systems, good games, all of that stuff. Lastly, it really comes down to this. Are you enjoying your Switch 2? If you have one, are you enjoying? I know I am. And I hope you're enjoying it too. And if you're on the fence on whether you should buy one, you're watching all these things that say, oh, I'm getting rid of my Switch 2 in 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. Just go get it. It's a wonderful system. If you already have the original Switch, you're going to really like the Switch 2. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.